guys and gals? Never here from Drake Wayne Game, and it's me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Roads Yet Traveled. Let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. For someone who probably has the most tenure out of anyone on this station, barring maybe the captain, this office kind of sucks. I mean, it's smaller than Rune's, and he's basically working out of a glorified broom closet. Seeing an open chair, I slump down and try to catch my breath. Tyr brings me a small disposable cup with some water and takes a seat behind the desk. The bleeding is slowed, and I manage to get some of the water down, but the taste of blood makes me feel like I'm going to retch again. I crumple the cup and watch as Tyr cleans some room off of his desk. He notices me staring and speaks up. "You might want to busy yourself while I get this set up. Perhaps you could message the lieutenant and see if he's woken up." I shake my head no. "Oh, I'm sure they won't mind. It's their job, after all." I raise my empty hands, barely managing to keep them from shaking. I don't even know where the damn thing is. Even then, I don't think I can talk to them right now. "You don't have it on you? You should really be more careful." A glare cuts him off. He knows he's overstepped. "Right. My apologies. I'm in no place to judge you. Still, it's a fascinating piece of technology. I hope you keep it safe. Oh, did you manage to get those other functions you wanted working? I had to jury-rig some cords to get enough power into it without frying the thing." 2 more stray shots, and this time he didn't even mean it. My vision goes red, but I grip the chair and shrug it off. What he did for me was a blessing, even if it has caused me a bit of stress. I don't think this static was his fault either, whatever it was. Well, you'll have to give me a few more moments then. I'd been working on something for you in my free time, but I wasn't planning on finishing it up just yet. I don't think it will take long, though." "Something for me?" Intrigued, I watch as he reaches behind his desk and starts placing tools down, before revealing a monitor of some kind that he must have been working on. The delicate dance of articulated tools holds my attention for a bit, but I soon take a moment to get up and look around his room. Despite the size, it seems like he manages it quite well, although I think his plant might have died. But there aren't even any windows. Even Rune has a view of that maintenance hub. The least they could do for Tyr would be a little porthole, right? Nah, he's too pragmatic. I bet he doesn't care. Walking to the back of the room adjacent to his desk, I see a few photos propped up in cheap-looking frames. I haven't seen a lot of photos since I've been here. Not a lot of art at all, actually. Taking a closer look, they seem to mostly be group photos of teams that Tyr must have worked on. I can't tell the order, but I can see at least a few common faces across the spread. Oh, hey, there's Merowyn. Man, he looks the same. I wonder when this photo was taken. Trying to find some pattern in the outfits proved fruitless, as there are very few photos without half the crew just wearing all gray uniforms. In fact, it seems like there's only one where no one is wearing that oh-so-charming Sucknose gray. It's the largest one, too, but with no discernible date, it's hard to tell anything about it. Ah, cherry limeade is so good. Merowyn's not in it, so maybe it was at least 30 years ago? Unless he's just off to the side. Tyr does look happier in this photo, though. Finding myself being too nosy for my own good, I step back and retake my seat at his desk. Despite very clearly coming from the direction of the photos, he doesn't comment on them at all. A few more minutes pass in abject silence before Tyr announces, "Well, this is going to have to work for now. Are you still with me, Rias?" I cautiously nod. He latches his bracelet and puts it inside his new creation, seemingly connecting them in the process. What? What the hell is he doing? "Now, this should work. In theory. It's been some time since I've had to put anything like this together. Now, if you don't mind, could you say something, please?" Hello? Okay. Oh, God, I can't even say that. The box on his desk screams out in a horrid, scratchy voice, only vaguely imitating what I said. I recoil, and even Tyr seems surprised by its awful delivery. No, none of that." He turns some knobs on the top of the box before beckoning again. Raising my hands to my head, I ready myself to cover my ears before speaking out of faint, "Hello? Greetings." The box replies in an almost banal tone. Its voice strangely human for something so haphazardly comprised. Tyr lets out a sigh of relief as he leans back in his chair. "Phew, finally. Hello, Rias. I feel that is more in order. Again, I'm sorry that took so long to get sorted out. With such rigid tech as this, it often takes some time." What is that? Question. What the fuck? Is this how I always sound to the Korean? No, there's no way my conversations have been as fluent as they are if all they're hearing is a shitty compressed version of my thoughts. I think Tyr understands too as he reads my confusion and explains. I thought this might happen. So, unfortunately, without your monitor or a neural between us, this might be a bit stilted. Just one of the unfortunate constraints of this real-time translation protocol. You shouldn't have to worry about it, though. Most of the time, your Guardian's neurals are doing the heavy lifting, and messages sent from your monitor to another monitor should be fine. But with only one piece of the puzzle, it's going to have a hard time keeping up. I hope this should be sufficient. I'll do my best to interpret what you're saying, of course. If I make a mistake, please let me know. It sounds dumb. I guess it makes sense. Most of the time, someone's translated for me, or I've communicated between two devices. Wonder why it needs that second part, though. Surely his monitor should be enough now that the algorithm has translated most of my language, right? So, what are you doing down here? His expression hides a stern tone. He's asking a question I don't even know the answer to. I was taking a walk? He seems less than impressed. A walk? Yeah? You seemed like you were in shock when I found you. It's understandable if you don't remember. Well, are you alright otherwise? It was quite unexpected to find you down here so early. I don't know. Unsure. I'm sorry to hear that. I think it might be best if Dr. Senna looked over you as soon as possible, just to make sure. Yeah. In the meantime, please try to relax. I was thinking it might be time we finally had a conversation of our own. If you think it's too much, please let me know, and you can just rest if you'd want. Otherwise, I believe I owe you at least a few explanations. Isn't this the guy who called me a subject the last time I saw him? I guess he had a change of heart, or the captain got to him again. It's not like he's about to spill his guts on the floor and tell me everything he knows. But I guess asking couldn't hurt. But what the hell am I supposed to ask about? The list is almost too long to know where to begin. Well, maybe I do, actually. I'm exhausted, beaten up, and probably going to regret this, but I have to ask. Tyr, what's the Marin? What is the star? I stare at the box as it translates. It is decidedly not what I said. Maybe it was just a translation error. But then, why does Tyr look so confused as well, almost more so than me? Yes, I thought you might ask about that. I'll tell you what I can, but first, please, what do you know of it? I let out a huff. I didn't come here to be tested, but fine. It's an engine of some sorts, generating enough energy to run this whole place. It's dangerous, and can't be used at full power. And it's broken, and you don't know why. Rias, what we have here is everything you said and more. It's not just some generator spewing out radiation and electromagnetic waves. It's the future for all Ikorian kind. Oh boy, hearing rhetoric like that certainly raises a brow. It's the very core of all of our work here, but you know that already. In short, it's an extremely powerful energy source, yes, but as you've experienced, it can be so much more. Can you tell me where it's from? No. Fine. Can you at least tell me more than some shitty spiel used to intrigue Soknos investors? The captain was right about you. Smart enough to cause a stir. I wish he wouldn't talk about me like I'm not here. Sir? Oh, right, of course. Well, I doubt you'd be surprised to hear that our project began well before we were even on this station. Our research with the Marin started all the way back on the Ikoroid on Io, although it wasn't until I met... His eyes go blank as he cuts himself off. He looks like he wants to swallow back the words, but they've already left. For someone who said I could ask him anything, he seems to be quite tight-lipped all of a sudden. Who did you meet? My expression betrays myself as I can't wipe my dissatisfaction away. Not all Senos are professors, but they may all be liars. Ignoring me, he gets up and pours himself something into a glass. I crumple my paper cup further. It looks hard, probably bitter, too. There's a sickly, dark red color to it unlike anything I've seen back home. I'm sure it would kill me. For but a moment, I wish it'd kill me. He downs it, looking at me over his shoulder. His expression settles and he regains some composure. We both know it's fake. We both wear masks. I put on a harmless smile as he prepares to retch up the best lie he can think of. We smile at each other before he continues. Oh, my contact at Suknos. It wasn't until I met them that I was introduced to the Ikoroid team. A lie within a lie, or perhaps just another truth. I'll take it at face value, although I'm unsure of what I should believe now that I'm here. He never said he'd tell me everything. It would be nice if he just said it was private instead of trying to confuse me. Is that when you started working for them? Oh no, Suknos wasn't founded until... Have you been informed of what happened to the Ikoroid, the one on AO? I have. Right. Good, that's good. But, Suknos wasn't founded until after we lost the Ikoroid. They are the survivors making sure it would never happen again. The crisis forced change, and AO backed the next best thing with the joint development of the Ikoroid 2. So that's the only reason any of this happened. Sure, I mean, it makes sense, but damn. The station itself wasn't even as old as this one before everything fell apart. I wasn't aboard at the time, if that wasn't obvious. Excuse me, how old was the station when it fell? Only some 20-odd cycles. There's a moment of silence. It's a cold remembrance of a tragedy I may not have even been alive for. It clearly means a lot to Tyr, more than he's willing to tell me. I didn't appreciate that many of those he worked with might not have survived. In fact, I'm willing to bet they didn't. Right. I'm sorry. Oh, you don't have to be, but thank you. Back to the Ikoroid, though. It wasn't until we built a chassis for the Marin that we were able to get any work done. We? Oh, the researchers I worked with before. As a team, we spearheaded most of what we have in terms of research on the Marin. So is that why you can't fix it? You lost too many people in disaster? You're partially correct. We're missing some of the seminal documentation that recorded our findings. Without that work, it has become harder to keep it functional. Except until recently, huh? What do you mean? Well, it brought me here. I'm guessing it's never done anything like that before, right? No, it hasn't, although I doubt it was intended to do that. And you're sure? You're sure you know what it intends on doing? I can't take the lies. I'm used to being spoken down to. But I'm tired of my situation being reduced to someone else's mistake. Someone somewhere made a choice, and now I'm paying for it. I'm sorry. Please continue. Huh. Right, the chassis. I'm starting to see why the captain might act like she does sometimes, although I don't intend on being as mean as her, yet. While the chassis is important, it's not the only moving part in the story. The other part is where my research comes in, and I fear that may have been the cause of all this. What do you mean? While the Marin can output an amazing amount of power without being told where to direct it, it ends up being, well, catastrophic. It's only due to my neural-based systems that we have any attempt at fun at guiding it. Oh, I guess that would explain how he's still able to work on it at all, really. The captain did say he was an expert on it. The only one. Let me explain. Think of the Marin as a battery for a monitor, and then the chassis is its case. I provide the programming to let them communicate. And in this most recent experiment, we tried something new. Well, congratulations, Professor. I think whatever you did might have worked. You jest, but you may be correct. Whatever changes I made to the neurals seem to have allowed for something, but we're still unsure as to what. What do you mean by that? I'm here. Isn't that enough? Enough? Rias, we have no idea why you're here. I didn't want that. I didn't want any of this. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I never would have wanted to tear you away from your life, and I sure as void didn't tell the Marin to do that. I believe him, but it doesn't change my mood. So, what did you change then? That's the question, isn't it? There are multiple changes, most of which I thought were superfluous. Either way, we can't check the internal systems until the Marin is safe to interact with again. All the data we got back from our peripheral machines turned out to be garbled nonsense, mostly repeating numbers and words. Which isn't the first time it's done that, either. Well, how long until that happens? How long until I can stop doing whatever this is? Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!